the fragrance life? Well, today, what I wanted to do is, of course, chat about fragrance. That's what we do on these weekly lives. That's what we do. And we hang out, we talk about fragrance, we talk about how things are going. How was your week? How's life treating you? Anything new? Anything fun? And of course, what fragrances have y'all been getting into? Again, I need to now actually schedule these and put the notifications out, but I don't know. I guess I kind of assume that y'all know, I've been going on for what, 2 years now that I'm going to do a live on, Saturday night now, 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be talking, and hopefully y'all want to tune in and chat about fragrance. So if I'm looking away, I'm just looking at Fragrantica right now. Actually, just you know, looking at these fragrances, just maybe changing things up. So, anyways, let's see here. I'm changing my scent of the day, what I wore today. Yep, that's the one. Anyways, what's your scent of the day, my friends? Oh, I see 5 people are here. How you doing? Happy weekend. Are y'all relaxing? Did you have a good week? Today, I cooked up a mighty fine taco fiesta. So that was really fun. Made a good taco fiesta today. All that citrus and spice going on. Hey there, hey buddy, hey there, Gam. Good to see you. What's your scent of the day, my friend? And Randy, my man, what's going on? What's your scent of the day? I'm getting my. I've been. I'm not haven't been getting myself into too much spending trouble, but I do have a offer on one fragrance, and I hope that I get it. There's only 3 of them available online. I don't want to spoil it. That maybe y'all would buy it from underneath me, and I didn't offer him a lot less. It's only like a $45 fragrance, and I offered him like at 35. There's only 3 of them available, and I've been wanting it, and I finally decide I'm like, I need to finally research this, and then I figured out exactly what it was because Fragrantica again does not have the name put correctly into their database. It's not the correct name, and it confuses people what they're looking at. It really does. Hey there, Shadowland. Yes, were you the one telling me about that on Instagram? The new Shadowlands from Happy Land Fragrances. I need to try that out. And maybe that's Happy Land's thing now. He's going to make fragrances based off certain lands, kind of like certain places, like Shadowland. I want to see Lava Land next. I'm just joking, but who knows? Let's see. But again, hey there, Randy and Gam. Tremaine says, scent of the day is Maison Francis Curtijon Grand Soir. Can't go wrong with that. Beautiful amber fragrance right there. I never duplicate frags. Solano in the house. Que pasa? Hey, man, my friend. How's it going? How was your day? My day was pretty good. I took it kind of easy, but I did get a lot of things done. And I'm always working on some crafts. I actually bought a really old queen knife, and I probably should record myself. I might get people out and make a different channel. Maybe people would want to watch that. It's fun. I'm still learning, but hopefully it turns out right. I'm not doing anything too complicated. It just was kind of broken. I took off the old scales, like the handle part, and I'm going to put on a new handle part. And I'm kind of thinking of some ways I can try to improve it. Yep, Randy. That's what I was thinking, Randy. And John says Never Neverland. I want to see that too. I want to see Never Neverland and all kinds of fantasy stuff pop up. I want to see more of the. Give us like Cotton Candy Land. Do something. I mean, it's a fun idea. I don't know how practical it is, but it's a fun idea. Maybe he could have, change his logo to look more like a carnival or something. Anyways, that's just some weird idea, but have y'all been getting yourselves into any new fragrances, or have any of those new fragrances we've talked about or that you've come across recently looked actually good? There's a couple of them I'm excited about, but honestly, I haven't been buying too much. I haven't been buying too many, but there's always something that tempts you. I'm bad about waiting to the very end and finding a fragrance where the supply is almost dried up, and then sometimes I get it, and sometimes I don't get the fragrance I want, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's where I'm at with one fragrance. Uh, I'm good smoking a cigar. Hey man, you know, pinky out, classy guy. I appreciate that, man. I need to try to get into that scene and see what's going on over there. What kind you could message me or let me know what kind of cigars do you suggest? I haven't got into that. There's what do they call it? There's a YouTube group that's very popular. They talk more about whiskey, but they also sometimes talk about cigars. They're like the whiskey, I don't want to say cult. They're like some group and they're two funny guys. They have a lot of witty banter. Love those guys. They're really cool. So, anyways, anyways, anything new? Anything fun? Gotta know. I gotta know, guys. Okay, so I'll just talk about my week. I got you. Okay. Let's see. Ben will be sleeping in the house on Loe Lou Eve. I'm impressed. I haven't tried that one, but I did try the original Loe. Um, I think it was just called Loe. It was like a guava cedar fragrance. It was quite good. But I've heard that some of the flankers are quite nice. But yeah, people are sleeping on the entire brand. Almost nobody talks about them. Like with the when the Ferragamo, what was it called? I need to review that do this real quick so I can look it up. There was Assoluto. I don't know how you're supposed to really say that, but it's it was a really good line, and the one I talked about, it was discontinued pretty much by the time I figured out it existed, and it was a shame. It was a real shame. So, anyways, Fin to Fendi, that's the one I was thinking of. Fin to Fendi. Almost nobody talked about them for the most part. And then by the time I finally found them and I talked about them, the the supply was already gone. Fin to Fendi. That's the one. So anyways, guys, are y'all familiar with that brand? Everybody's popping in saying hello. Hello there, Saborg. Hey there, John. Traded for Tuscan leather. I mean, Tuscan leather is a good fragrance. I mean, I would not be disappointed with that. Um, you did you trade your Tuscan leather for the Happy Land? Value for money, the Tuscan leather is probably worth a lot more, but leather and effing fabulous. Happy about that. Oh, so it's kind of a mix of two things. It's kind of a combination. That sounds nice. That would be a good combo right there. Leather and Tom Ford's. That'd be good. I do need to get more into those Happy Land fragrances. I know they've come out with a couple new releases that I just haven't tried yet. Harley Warley says, "Hey, you Benjamin. Good to see you. Just having a Sunday. Arvo nap here. Not sure what Arvo is exactly, but or maybe that's a misspelling. But good to see you, Carly. I'm happy that you're taking it easy. It's already Sunday for you. It's Saturday evening over in my side of the world. Just taking it easy, getting ready for the good weekend. It's pronounced Lou. Is that how you say it? Low. I think I've seen people say low, but low e. I'm not sure, but forgive me. Tremaine says, I got Solo and Origami, both bangers in my opinion. Finna get Cedro next. Yeah, it's a nice house. The one I was talking about again is called Fan Defendi, the Assoluto Fendi. And that one was a great fragrance. It's really hard to get. People are overcharging. It's discontinued. But that was a great, and I mean a great designer fragrance. And it's a shame that that one had to go. And I mean, I didn't see very many reviewers talk about it when it was actually available. And that's a shame that that one didn't get talked about as much as it should have. So it's a great fragrance. Let's see here. Have you given any more thoughts to a podcast? I've thought about it. Do you really want me to? I think I need to. I've been tempted to do that. And it's a lot more convenient for me than, getting on YouTube. And maybe that's people just want to hear my voice and they like my voice more than they like seeing me. And I do have a lot of thoughts and opinions and things I could, discuss on a myriad of different topics. So maybe that's the way to go. Let's see here. But I've been tempted, Randy. I probably should do that. I haven't smelled no happy. Oh, you haven't smelled any Happy Land? Yeah, I haven't smelled any Happy Land in a while either. Sadland, yeah, we're in the sad lands. Where man, we need to get in the bad lands. I want to see Happy Land, Badlands, and that'd be fun. No, no, Ben, it's Low AV. Okay. Low AV? I'm sorry. I don't even know what that means, and forgive me. I got to Fendi. I'm happy that you did. I'm happy that you got your nose and your hands on those before. I don't they all might be discontinued. I'm not sure if all of them are, but the Assoluto is completely gone. And I used to it's a shame when fragrances come and go, but that's how it happens. I used to talk about Declaration Ensoir Intense all the time. The supply is gone, my friends. It's not You're not going to easily get yourself a bottle, and it's too expensive for what it is now being discontinued. But that one was a great designer fragrance too. Tremaine, good to see you. 2 a.m. SMR. Do y'all like my voice that much? I didn't know my voice was that nice. Thank you. That's a compliment. I appreciate that. Maybe I need to I don't know. Maybe that's my strength. Maybe my looks aren't my strength. Maybe it's my voice. It's Levo, not Levo. Sorry. I I'm gonna be have to be one of those guys to hear somebody say it to probably say it right. So it's La I can't even say it right. Forgive me. We'll just have to forget about it. I wanted to get the absolute, and it's spelled weird. They don't spell it absoluto. They spell it with like an S. It's like assoluto, but it's essentially means the same thing. It's like their stronger version of the fragrance. It was like their intense version, and it was a great one. Yeah, it's a shame that it had to disappear on us. Are there any other fragrances y'all know of that we should be keeping an eye out? I don't know if the Molinards, how available they are. It seems like some of them come and go, and I don't hear everybody talk about them. I've seen some people talk about them, but they're supposedly really good value for what they are. And I wouldn't be amazed that when the supply dries up on the Molinards, that they go crazy in price. So I don't want to focus on discontinued stuff, but there are gems out there. It's nice to talk about the gems for sure. Um, I wanted to. I think you're. Well, thank you, Carly. Your voice is a bonus. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully I got something going for me, so I appreciate that, Carly. Tremaine says Fendi be playing games with all these discontinuations. Yeah, they are. I don't know what they're doing over there. They had some winners, and they did some good stuff, and sometimes you don't know if they market themselves enough or if they put themselves out there, or sometimes you just don't know why some fragrances come and go. Like, I don't know if it's 100% true, but we've heard whisperings and rumors that Mont Blanc Individual is being discontinued. So if you really like that fragrance and you have to have it, make sure you get yourself a discount. I mean, well, get a discount, get a sale, but get yourself a backup bottle is what I was thinking. Get yourself that backup bottle because it might be gone. I'm not sure. Again, some of these brands certain fragrances are really popular in the fragrance community, but again, we're a growing community and it's awesome. We're friends and everything, but we're really still a small part of the actual consumers, the people who actually buy fragrances. We're not the whole market. Some people seem to feel that way or think that way. So for example, Ultramall, extremely popular in the fragrance community in general, but didn't seem to sell well enough. At least it didn't do well enough for Jean Paul Gaultier to keep it in stores regularly. Supposedly, it's only again going to online sales only, and who knows, it might be completely gone in the near future. We don't exactly know. They be tripping. They do. Some of these brands, it's funny. They put out some of the most beautiful fragrances ever. It doesn't seem like they actually market it or try to push the fragrance. They just make it and expect people to find it, and or they don't push it. And then when it doesn't sell as much as they exactly like they want it to, they just get rid of it. And some of these things are like masterpieces. So, favorite Killian. That's a hard question. Again, I don't dislike the House of Killian. Um, I just don't know if their style is for me. Their style is a little bit like posh and laid back and like smooth, and I don't want to say urban. That's not the right word, and metro is not the right word. But there's a certain like polished quality about Killian fragrances that maybe isn't my personality. I'm not really sure what it is. I don't dislike them. And Apple Brandy was a really nice fragrance from them. I'd love to have a bottle of apple brandy. Very playful apple sweet fruity fragrance. Very again boozy, of course, with that brandy. I'd love to have a bottle of that. Gold Night was pretty decent. I did get to try that one. I've tried most of them. Intoxicated's pretty good, but I forget which one. I think that one might be one that takes some inspiration from Mugler's Amen. I forget, but I think that was the one that wasn't terribly perfectly original. And a lot of Killians to me, I don't know for the price. I don't know. I'm funny, and I pick and choose just like with music. That's why I try to find my favorites from every brand. I don't follow one band. I don't follow one house. If there's any one house that I love the most, it's actually Nishane's really been creeping up there in my mind. And Nishane is probably almost like a head-to-head tie with Amouage, but I don't dedicate myself, and I would never buy the whole collection of Nishane or Amouage, but those are probably the houses that I like the most fragrances from. But there's so many good houses. I like to pick and choose, of course, from everything. I don't stick myself with a corner with any brand. So I don't know. Answering your question with Killian, it's probably Apple Brandy. But it's funny because sometimes I prefer Nasamato's Baranda more than Apple Brandy. So to me, Killian is again. I'm not going to get any sponsorships because of this. I've burnt bridges with Creed. I've said lukewarm things back and forth about Tom Ford. They probably don't want to mess with me if they ever had the idea. And now, Killian, I mean, I've been already gotten close to saying get on this topic. If Killian's paying attention, they don't want anything to do with me. But I don't know. I I just don't connect to Killian fragrances very much. I want to. I'm like, looking forward to some of their fragrances. On the other hand, their ladies' fragrances, Killian has like two or three fragrances that I think are better for the ladies that I think are knockouts. It's funny for the men on the men's side of things. I don't know. I don't connect to them, and some of them like single malt. Single malt to me needs more complexity. It's like a fragrance that's half made. But like Rolling in Love, one of their newer releases, more for the ladies. Great, great stuff. I think that's beautiful. So, anyways, let's get to some more of the comments. But I hopefully answered your question, Solano. Randy says, I picked up Incidents Diplomatique by Javoy. Fire. Absolutely. Beautiful patchouli fragrance. Sebastian over there at Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews, says things about that fragrance and speaks highly of it for a good reason. That stuff's fire. Javoy makes quite a few good fragrances. Private Label smells like a rich man. And if you want to smell like $1 million man, get that or get yourself Kanai's 10 Gold. I'm going to make probably a video about that, but some people ask about that sometimes. I just like to put it out there. If you are that kind of guy and you want to smell like money, yeah, get yourself Private Label by Javoy. It's sad, bruh. Us fans get screwed over with these crazy prices on eBay. Yeah, it's the market. If people are willing to pay it, it's all supply and demand, and that's how the game works. And it is a shame, but if you really love it, get yourself another bottle. And we do get emotionally attached to fragrances, but again, my attitude has always been: there's new releases, there's new fragrances. There's if it's a popular fragrance that gets discontinued, there's going to be clones, even though maybe the clones aren't the same. And I know some people don't like them, and I understand, I respect that, but there's a lot of good fragrances, and to me, it's sad to see some things go, but there's always there. I mean, we can't even keep up with how many new releases there are. We can't even keep up with them, and there's always something new and fun and exciting. So I don't try to mourn and get sad and focus on the things that are gone as so much, but it is nice to speak about some of the best designers like that Fan Defendi. It's gone. So, anyways, Never Duplicate Frag says I like Ultramall better than the new one. The new Le Parfum, I think they call it. I don't know. To me, they're very close. The Ultramall performs really well. It's a big compliment getter. The Le Parfum to me is a little bit smoother and richer, but it's honestly not very original. It just added some cardamom, and it still has that lavender and that vanilla. And to me, the new Le Parfum, nothing's really special about it. So it doesn't really impress me, but I do kind of like it for what it is, but I've smelled plenty of things and I have plenty of fragrances that do, a similar seductive dark kind of vibe much better for me personally. So yeah, I wouldn't really hype either of them up, but if you are a young guy wanting to party, Ultramall still works, but y'all know me. To the younger guys, I've always suggested Invictus and Versace's Dylan Blue. I think that those are some of the loudest and most mass appealing fragrances. I personally like the Paco Rabanne's, was it Pure Excess Night? I really like that one that came out pretty recently. So Tremaine says I copped Gucci Envy before the prices went through the roof. Yeah, the prices on that went crazy. I recently saw some people complaining about I think it was Gucci Pour Homme 2. It's not even the first one, it's the second one, and it got discontinued about I want to say about a year and a half or so ago, and it was really people started catching on that it was discontinued about a year ago, and now somebody recently complained and they said somebody was trying to sell a bottle for 220 bucks. So again, that used to be a fragrance that you could easily find for about 50 bucks any day, every day. The performance isn't even great on that fragrance. It's actually kind of weak on the performance, but somebody out there wants it, and somebody's going to pay that 220 bucks. And in the future, people are going to talk about how that was a deal. It's going to get more expensive because Gucci, that fragrance was quite popular. Quite a lot of people loved it. So it was a good tea fragrance. It was pretty mass appealing for what it was too. But is it worth that kind of money? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't dare pay that much. So, Dua Pommet, how do you say that? Trimp, is awesome. I got rid of my Apple Brandy and kept the Dua. Now I respect that. I think Apple Brandy is discontinued, or at least that's what I can tell. And yeah, sometimes if you can find a fragrance that's good enough or close enough or an alternative, I do that all the time. And I don't even have. I still have a fragrance collection under 100 fragrances. If I find I wear something more than another fragrance, even if they're not the same fragrance, and they make me feel similarly, and they maybe have some similarities to them, for me personally, why have something, especially if it's discontinued, expensive, somebody else wants it, and you could sell that discontinued fragrance and buy a couple of fragrances you actually want. So I sometimes do that. Not all the time, but it's happened a time or two. Actually, some people actually really love having discontinued fragrances in their collection. If I like it, but if the fragrance gets too expensive for its own good, I actually dislike wearing it because for me, in the back of my mind, I know the fragrance, it costs so much money, and it's nice to know that you have it, other people don't have it, but it's like a memory and it's something that's kind of going away and you're not going to have it forever, so that's a bad idea. And it's more expensive than it could be. And then sometimes I really get thinking, is this fragrance worth that much money for me in my pocket? This fragrance I paid $50 for. I thought it was a great fragrance at 20, 30, 40, $50. In my opinion, is it a $200 fragrance? And if the fragrance isn't a $200 fragrance for me, I sell it. I know some people don't like that. Some people are the opposite. They seek out the discontinued stuff. I'm the opposite. I guess I'm a funny guy. But anyways, but I thank y'all for talking about this. Is an awesome conversation. Y'all are making it fun. Urban, Solano says Urban, Ultramalt better. Oh, you're talking about the Urban one. Oh, okay. I was thinking about the Le Parfum. I haven't tried the new Urban. Is that by Jean Paul Gaultier? Who knows? They must have put that out pretty recently. You got your nose on it fast, Solano. Anyways, Tremaine says Killian is overrated house for me, in my opinion, Ben. I pretty much agree. There's some nice houses out there, but again, I pick one or two from them, like Initio. I respect the house of Initio, but like Side Effect was pretty good. I loved Rehab. Would love to have a bottle of Rehab in the collection. But are there any other ones that really blew me away? Like, do I have to have them? Would I speak highly enough of them to like promote them? Of course, no sponsors, nothing of that. But I mean, even to like, try to get people to pay attention to it. Besides Rehab, and the performance should be a little bit better on it. That's and Side Effect was sometimes. I mean, sometimes I feel really good about it, and sometimes I don't. It's like Initio is one of those houses for me. Let's see here. Nishane is a solid house. I agree. Nishane, all their fragrances for the most part are different. All of them have really well put together compositions, and they have something for everybody. And look into that house of Nishane. Everybody knows about Ani at this point. Everybody knows about Fan Your Flames pretty much at this point. But they have Wulong Cha, which is a beautiful, great, clean fragrance. Could be great for the office, the workwear, if you just like to have that clean, almost soapy like quality in a very interesting way. They have 100 Silent Ways, which is also like a sweet musk kind of. It's interesting, and they have so many other fragrances. You definitely gotta jump into Nishane. Pete says, "What's the best thing you smelled lately?" I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I've been pretty addicted to Treachery by Mahir Olfactive. Again, I am not a fragrance reviewer who gets sent out promotional fragrances by big brands, and everybody kind of is familiar with all the same things. I buy fragrances because I generally like them. I actually got samples, and I actually bought Treachery out of my own pocket because I was in love with it. It's a bold fragrance. It's kind of brash. Some people who like Maison Francis Curtojon and more transparent fragrances are probably going to think that Treachery is kind of unwearable or overbearing. It is a bit on the aggressive side. Let me read you the notes. I pulled it up right here. I love it. It's one of my new favorite fragrances of all time. It has vanilla, whiskey, saffron, spices, tobacco, cacao pod, sweet almond, davana, and wild berries. The vanilla is very much in the background. I think I've reviewed this fragrance, but I'm kind of spoiling it for y'all. But the whiskey is here. It's kind of like a dry whiskey, but there's a lot of booziness. The saffron is elegant. There's quite a bit of saffron. Spices are in the background, but they're dry, and you do feel them. You feel them. It's more than just a little bit of spice. The tobacco's here, a little bit on the rich side, but the tobacco doesn't overpower the fragrance. The cocoa pod is more woody. It's not an overtly Nutella chocolatey fragrance. Again, it has a little bit more of a dry quality about it, and I think that it's a little bit more present than the vanilla. The vanilla just rounds things out. It's very much in the background. The sweet almond adds a nuttiness and also adds to some of the leather qualities to this fragrance. There's tons of Davana here. If you're not familiar with Davana, it's like herbaceous, almost like this green leather. It's really rich, and there's tons of it here. It's kind of aggressive, but I'm addicted to it. I never knew that I would like Davana so much, but Davana is one of my new favorite things. And the wild berry here is like a mix of berries, but I definitely say that there's more dark berries mixed in than red berry, and again, a little bit on the dry side. So, Treachery smells like a pirate. Also, the fragrance also gives you a very confident feeling, almost like patchouli, without really having any patchouli to it. I'm not a spokesperson. Y'all know this. I haven't been paid, but they are happy that I like the fragrance so much. Try out Treachery if you want something bold in your face, if you want to smell like a pirate. So, anyways, enough talking about that. Hopefully, I answered that question. But there's a lot of things I've been smelling. I've got recently got myself Boise 1920. They have one called what is it called? I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering. Blase 1920. Was it patchouli? Let me look it up here. I'm looking at the box, but I can't. I'm just tired or something. I don't know. Let's see here. Really patchouli. I think that's the one, and it's beautiful. It's surprisingly good and wearable, and also kind of on that woody citrus side of thing. And it has a very fascinating way of using like an ambery feeling and also licorice. It's not just a patchouli fragrance. It's got more to it, and I love it. That's one of my most recent purchases that I've actually got in my collection. So let me catch up with the comments. Got 4 joints from them. Tremaine says from Killian. Which ones are your favorite, Tremaine? Yeah, the prices are high. Yeah, Killian's. If they were charging, that $150 range, but again, Killian's promote their image and they promote their brand with that high end luxury. Again, like very fancy houses, and super elegant suits and people walking in and the lights are a little bit down and everything's polished and looks oiled and they got that kind of image going out. So they're not going to charge $150, but if they were charging that 150 $200 range, I'd be more happy with what their quality, but they're charging that 250 at the lowest, $300 plus range. And I don't know if they're worth it. But I feel that way about a number of brands like Roja. Again, y'all know me how I feel about most of the Roja fragrances. So, and again, I want Great Britain, and I think it's a great fragrance. If I had the money, I might be willing to pay a lot of money for it. But $1,700 for Great Britain, I'm not going to pay it, even if I had the money. So, yeah, greedy mofo's for real. Yeah. And I know I'm scaring y'all. Y'all, some people out there think paying retail prices for the high-end designer fragrances $100 now. Some of these designer fragrances are getting there. They think that's scary, or they think that's too expensive. And sometimes when I say a cheapie is $30, they get annoyed. Yeah, there's people out there and they're forking out $1,700 for a fragrance. And then there's the Chypre Extraordinaire. Don't even get started on that by Roja. They there's people burning money. I'm not there. I don't even want to do it. So, but Apple Brandy was a good one. That was a real good one from Kilian. And it's I don't know why they get rid of it. What do you think about Sir Winston? Oh, by Bortnikov. Did you watch my review? Did you see that? Or did I actually put that review out on YouTube? I know I talked about it on Instagram. Double check. Look it up. I'm pretty sure I reviewed that one. But it's a very good full-bodied rich tobacco fragrance. Very elegant, a little bit more mature, has that cigar, leather-bound books, kind of gentleman with a little bit of a rugged side. It kind of has a little bit of that quality. It's a good fragrance. If you're going to get into the House of Bortnikov, that is probably the one I'd recommend the most. There's also one called like Chypre de Nord or something like that. And that one also I think is excellent from the house, but some of them are a little bit strange. Some of them are too much. Like Vetiver Nocturne is going to be way too daring. I could wear it. I do understand it, but I wouldn't even want to wear Vetiver Nocturne. It's a little bit too much. But that fragrance is crazy, and Bortnikov is on that deep side of niche, on the deep side. So, top three vetiver. Very. Let me get back to the comments. And Solano says fragrances give you a great memory. I need to get Freeway. There's a fragrance by 4160 Tuesdays, I think it is, called Freeway, and it just reminds me. We moved a lot when I was a kid. We traveled well, I guess it wasn't a traveling in the sense of like vacation time. We actually moved a lot, and I just remember us being on the highway and driving a lot. And I'd like looking out the windows, and I'd try to open the windows if I could, and at least smell the air because half of the time we never stopped in any of these states or places. We definitely didn't meet any of the people or anything, or have any of the food or anything of these different states in the USA. But Freeway kind of gives me a memory of that in a weird way, and I kind of like that. So fragrance, I don't have memories are powerful. I don't want to discredit that, but I don't have too many fragrances that I connect to on a memory level, and I don't usually seek that out personally. Honestly, there's very few fragrances that have done that. I found a fragrance one time that reminded me of like the day after the carnival. I smelled a fragrance that reminded me of my grandma's chair, like her lazy chair. I found a fragrance one time that again that one that reminded us of moving and traveling on the freeway. But honestly, I don't know. I don't have too many. I like to make memories with fragrances. Does that make sense? So I'm talking about fragrances that actually smelled like a memory. I like having good experiences with beautiful smelling fragrances. And to me, that's what I try to do instead of seeking out fragrances that remind me of a memory or something of my childhood or something. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, more power to the people who do that and have powerful emotions and memories and all that special stuff. But again, I try to find things I really like and just have fun with them. That's again, hopefully that's okay. Again, respect and power to all of y'all. So, top three vetiver fragrances. For the money, I got again. I have to shout out Guerlain's vetiver. It's still out there. It's still pretty accessible and affordable. Guerlain's vetiver for the money is probably hands down the best vetiver you can find. It's still out there for about $40 or so. Underrated, doesn't last a super long time, but beautiful vetiver for the money. I have a real big soft spot for Bulgari Man Extreme. Bulgari Man Extreme is that Haitian vetiver, that citrus vetiver combo. Beautiful stuff. Underrated for how mass appealing it is. And really one of the easiest, if not the easiest, to get into vetiver fragrance. Again, some vetivers are grassy, and some of them can be kind of rooty, and some of them can be dry and smell like hay. And some people don't like those things, but they're Haitian vetiver. If you are looking for an easier to wear vetiver, look for the Haitian vetiver stuff. That, usually they're used in more Italian perfumery, and Italians love to use that stuff, and they know how to do magic with Haitian vetiver. So keep your eye out for that. I'm trying to look over my collection. I always respect Boise de Portugal by Creed. They did a great job there with that fragrance. Kaleidoscope by Daniel Hosier was another vetiver. I thought that was excellent. One that I actually own in the collection is Timbuktu by the Artisan Parfumeur. Again, that is a like an African spice and incense fragrance, and it has some green mango, but it also does have some vetiver to it. It's a very good fragrance. I'm sure you've heard about it for a vetiver fragrance. And I'm trying to actually stare at my collection right now. I'm trying to absorb knowledge. I'm trying to absorb the knowledge and what are some good vetiver fragrances? I forget if Cowboy Grass by DS and Durga has vetiver or not, but it definitely comes close to having that feeling. And Cowboy Grass is great. Again, Bowmakers is great, and some of the other ones from DS and Durga, but Cowboy Grass is pretty darn good. And what else do I actually have in my collection that has vetiver? I'm sure I have some things that sneak in some vetiver, but I don't have too many fragrances that focus on it. Y'all know that I love my Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh. I guess that'll be my third choice. Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh, the freshest, one of the classiest, and just a remarkable fragrance through and through. Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh for the win, and of course I'll be speaking of it coming this spring and summer. Once again, it's beautiful. It's still winter. It's still one of the best out there, designer fragrance wise. So let's get to the comments. Evening, Ronald. Good to see you, my friend. Sabor80 says, I tried Gucci Pour Homme too. Didn't like it. Yep, it's weak and the T note turned sour on me. Well, I guess you lucked out because now you don't have the desire to pay $200 for it. Most tea fragrances go sour on my skin. That's sad. I love tea. I love tea and fragrances. It's one of the things I look forward to, and that's a shame. Have you? Oh, sample just ran away from me. I always have those on my table over here. Does I don't know if you can if it's even possible for you. Get a sample of this one. Atkinson's Oud Save the King. This one has tea to it. Hopefully this works on your skin. This is one of the best tea. It's not trying to focus on tea, but this is one of the best tea fragrances on the market. If everything goes sour on you, I don't know. Wulong Cha is great, but it does almost approach a neroli kind of feeling, like a white floral type of feel to it. And Wulong Cha by Nishane might go sour on you too. So I'm sorry about that, but I guess you got to work with that skin chemistry. Um, People will get extra burned when they find out tea-based fragrances have a poor shelf life. It's true. Yeah, it's a more volatile note. Natural citruses or just citrus fragrances in general tend to go volatile, or those top notes tend to disappear in fragrances. It's actually one reason that some perfumers actually prefer not to use, especially natural citruses in fragrances, or just citrus notes in general, because they are more volatile, and their shelf life doesn't last very long. So yeah, it's funny that if you're talking about that Gucci Pour Homme 2, yeah, it because of its note and its construction, it might not actually survive for 20 years or something if people are trying to, you know, pr- I guess save it away or invest in that fragrance. So making sense. Good to see you. Yo, buddy, how's it going, my friend? What's up, Michael? Hey, everybody. Everybody's greeting each other. Killian done lost their mind. Those crazy ass price. Yeah, Killian's a bit expensive for what they are. Not trying to beat up the brand. I like their I like their notes. Their vibe is kind of nice. I just think that again they don't have to go weird or overtly complex, but I think some of their fragrances should have a little bit more of an edginess about them. At least that's not my feeling. I think that at least they need a couple fragrances in their collection that have a bad girl or a bad boy type of attitude about them. They're all like very refined and like laid back, somebody like sitting back drinking extremely expensive alcohol in fancy clothes, and that's how the fragrances feel to me. And I don't know if I want to feel like, or if that's my vibe, just like sitting back in some like fancy apartment drinking expensive alcohol, and just like in a skyscraper or something, like looking over the city. That's how like Killian makes me feel, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to feel like this. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe Killian's make y'all feel completely different. Let me know. Anyways, Sabor80 says, I'm wearing Calamont Black. I swear it has weight. Yeah, you're right. When fragrances give you very few accords, they're just trying to give you the main impressions on how the fragrance is supposed to feel. Most perfumers do not want people paying attention to the notes because that gives people room to worry or talk themselves out of a fragrance or maybe find reasons why they dislike a fragrance. They really want you to pay attention to how the fragrance feels on you and maybe how the fragrance changes, and that story with the fragrance, with the name and the or maybe the history and everything else they might have going, involved with that fragrance. So yeah, a lot of brands are starting to do that more and more. In the past, some brands do still do give you the full breakdown. They'll give you 15 to even 30 notes. And but these days a lot of brands are giving you 5, 6 notes or so. And again, those really are accords. And so there's more notes going into those individual notes going into a blend of accords. So if somebody says like a lemon, and you pick up on something different, and some lemon oils and some orange or lime and something, it could be there. Sometimes there are hidden notes and fragrances for sure. And things like cumin, they're definitely going to hide people from seeing that. Cumin is actually very common in fragrances, but most fragrances don't put a lot of cumin in fragrances in general. But these days people are so scared of it that half of the time they don't even list it. So anyways, let's see. Calamont Black smells like berries and booze to me. Calamont Black is interesting. I got more of like this. I can't see the booziness, but I don't really see the berry part of it. To me, it had this like refined, boozy, kind of like woodiness to it. It didn't smell like a patchouli exactly, but kind of almost felt like one. Again, my mind's on patchouli, but Calamont Black does a good job. It's really nice. I personally prefer Oud Noir Vanilla, which some people say they get smoky vibes out of it. Oud Noir Vanilla is a little bit richer and heavier and does have a little bit more of the oud vibe to it, but I love it. And it's from a house called Bourdois. I think it's fantastic. And I think the House of Bourdois doesn't get talked about very much either. Boise 1920 Extreme smells like Zeno, but better. One of my favorites I don't speak of much. Yes, Sabor. Boise 1920 is another great house that doesn't get spoke about enough. Carnar Barcelona, I don't want to. I mean, I might encourage people to try more Boise 1920 because I feel like they're a hidden gem. Carnar Barcelona, I still think the house is underrated, but I do feel like a number of fragrance lovers have given them a chance, and I think that the house is kind of, it is what it is, that kind of bot thing. I think they're a good house. The longevity on some of their fragrances could be a little bit better. I love their Italian Mediterranean flair and vibe to some of their fragrances. Y'all know how much I love Amber del Sur, which is quite actually one of their most daring fragrances from Carner Barcelona. But I feel like they haven't put out a lot of fragrances recently that are trendy enough, or or really have captured or put themselves in a really popular spotlight. I think that if Carnar Barcelona really wants to grab the spotlight, be on center stage like Nishane Ani did, all lights are on Nishane Ani, and everybody was paying attention. I think that Carnar Barcelona needs to put some bangers out to put themselves more on the spotlight. But I do like the brand. I thought Bobo was great, but If you, it's a cucumber salt fragrance. If you, some of y'all out there, I know hate cucumber. If you hate cucumber, that fragrance will offend you. But I thought that Bobo was quite good. I think the name was quite strange. Maybe Bobo means something different in Italian. Not really sure, but anyways, let's see here. Salt says smells like Zeno. I'm buying it. Well, that's, you definitely got to try that. Another one here. Funny enough, I'm gonna save the full idea. Again, I have so many ideas. I might spoil things, or other fragrance reviewers, I worry about taking my ideas. But if you want something that smells like Zeno, higher quality, and does something different, don't get scared of the oud, guys. There's not much oud in this fragrance, trust me. But it's called Oud Divin from Robert Piguet. I think that's how you say it. And this fragrance here kind of smells like Zeno, higher quality, puts a different twist on it, and it's good stuff. So it definitely is more for a grown up kind of man, grown up man for sure. But Oud Divin is nice. Timbuktu is very challenging. I do agree. It's definitely on that niche side of things. I don't know if I would say it's a Timbuktu's mass appealing. I personally can wear it pretty easily, pretty comfortably, but I understand that it's a little bit more unusual and a little bit more complex, and for some people that it's a little too much. It has really unique spices, a lot of incense. It has green sour mango. It has vetiver, and it's a unique emotion. And again, that's one reason I think, again, you got to test niche. Don't buy so much into niche if you can, because Timbuktu will, and fragrances like that. Again, I look more for those emotion than the memories with fragrances. I hope that makes sense. So Timbuktu makes you feel like, an African king or somebody fancy, somebody royal, but it's a very different feel than Egyptian to me, that Egyptian flair. And Timbuktu is a special fragrance, but yeah, if you don't connect to it, like with a lot of niche fragrances, at least if they do their job right, you got to connect to it or not. It's kind of a lot of niche for me is that way. It's a love or hate relationship, and I've said it before. I'll say it once again for y'all. I personally think, some people seem to love a lot of fragrances, or most, or almost all fragrances, but I think you should probably dislike more niche than you like, because you have certain tastes and certain memories and things you're looking for, and you got to find the stuff that's right for you. But there's something that you like, especially if it's a niche fragrance that's good for you, might not be good for me, might not be good for your friend. But of course, there are more mass appealing, easier to wear niche fragrances, but especially if you're going, into something with more personality, it's very personal. It's very personal for sure. So, anyways, so Boris says if Cowboy Grass lasted longer than 2 hours, it'd be my number one fragrance. You only get 2 hours of performance. That's a shame. On me, it gave me reliably like 6 or 7, but it's I guess it doesn't project that strongly. But I didn't think performance was that bad. Is it really that bad on your skin? Shoot. Again, I would test. I see some people say that those kinds of things. I'm not disagreeing with you, but spray some clothes or spray a piece of paper, and come back like the next day and figure out how much time has elapsed and kind of see how strong the fragrance is. And I've had that happen sometimes where I go nose blind, especially if when I didn't know better and I used to spray a bunch of fragrance on my chest, and there were a couple fragrances that I thought were weak, and they actually were pretty good performers. It's just that my nose didn't want to smell them, I guess, for very long. So, and Joe says, "Hey Ben, down here in Houston, we got discount stores, crazy low prices. We have a street named Harwin on the southwest, full of shops, and all they sell is perfumes. Do they have them? I think you're asking them down there where I live. No, I live in a city of like 50,000 or something, and actually a big city for where I live, which a lot of people 50,000 is nothing, but a lot of people travel here and try to work here and live here, but it's we don't have anything like that. There's not a fragrance culture. There are malls, and but they're kind of slowing down, and I don't know how much longer our mall will actually exist. It is still fairly successful, but y'all know that everything is moving to online retailers. So we don't have anything like that. We don't even have Chanel. We don't have anything high end luxury like that around here. People don't have the money for it, and people just don't have that type of attitude. People think you're a very strange person half of the time if you walk around with like dress shoes. People like think you're putting on a show or something. It's a whole different world. Trust me. Sabor80 says, I just bought a house in Sugarland. Really, Sugarland. That's awesome. My wife has the Oudwa Vanilla Boudoir, and it's a great house. I agree. I think they're underrated house, and I think they're giving you a good value for money. And I forget the name of it. It's like Oud Assam or something. I forget what its name is, but it has a lot of like these little elephants, and it's kind of funny. It looks like a fancy carpet you would see in some movie. Like, like some cultures put carpets up on the wall and they're very expensive carpets. They're not for putting your feet on. They're like tapestries. And it kind of looks like that, like something from India with all these fancy little elephants. It's kind of cute. And I kind of want the fragrance, even though I've never smelled it. Hey, Uncommon Sense. Hey, respect to you, my friend. How's it going? How's it going, my friend? Empty Sense. Hello, Centaur. Everybody's popping in. Yes, more power. I think I finally caught up with the comments. Everybody's greeting each other. Hang in there, gents. Absolutely. What's popping, Uncommon? What it do, playa? Do you know my motto? I've joked about it. It's called "Watch Yourself, playa," because you could be playing, you get yourself in trouble too. So watch yourself, playa. That's something I learned. I like to joke about, but it's actually good wisdom. Watch yourself. You gotta be aware. You gotta think a little bit ahead of time before you do something. You could get yourself in a bad situation. Uh, I'm chilling like a villain. We got Solano over there smoking a cigar. What you into, man? Are you so we were talking about Killian. I want to know who the arch villain is. I want to know who's wearing Killian Dark Lord over there and drinking some expensive booze and with sunglasses on in the middle of the night, just in like the middle of New York City, looking over the whole city like in a skyscraper or something. And I don't know, in your fancy shoes. Same here, bruh. Got a drink. Okay, okay. What you got? What you got? You got some good stuff. But yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I think I've been trying to build myself up. Again, y'all know that I'm trying to get a soap company going. I've been. It takes time to make natural tinctures, but I'm getting there. Trying to build up some of the natural ingredients for my perfume brand. It takes a lot of time. Most people just buy the tinctures and buy the ingredients, but it's cheaper and I want control of the quality of what when I actually make perfumes. So I've been actually trying to make tinctures, but it takes time for all those things to age. But again, most when you buy essential oils and tinctures and things, a lot of them are steam distilled, and I don't want to do that. But I got to figure out how I'm gonna, you know, actually make the fragrances because if it takes me 6 months or something to age, a certain type of oil for you guys, I got to figure out how to work that out and plan beforehand and produce, a lot of this stuff beforehand. So I have Henny. Oh, okay, okay, Henny. Yeah, I got okay. Also, not much of. Oh, yeah, I don't do that too much either, but. Mead and rum. I guess I'm a Celtic guy at heart. That's the kind of stuff I'd go for. So, anyways, any new fragrances y'all recommend that I get into, or is there anything that looks good to you? I got a huge buy list. I don't even like to look at it because you got that huge list of stuff. If you could buy it, if you could get your hands on it, it'd be like $10,000, and I gotta it's scary to look at that, but I got a lot of stuff there, but anyways, anything new? Anything exciting? There's a couple new brands popping out. I don't even know when I'll get my hands to try some of these. There's Mercedes Man Bright, which could be a new cheapie. It looks like it's going to be another fresh, crisp fragrance. Maybe some juniper, some vetiver, something in there. It's made by Oliver Crisp, which y'all know he's a good nose. He knows what he's doing. Everybody's jumping on these lemon bergamot fragrances, Bohemian Lime by uh, I can't even say this is the people who made Pacific Rock Moss down there in Australia. Ah, Australia. It's not Gallagher. For some reason that came to mind. It's not Gallagher though. I'll get back to y'all. I'm not remembering right now, but Goldfield and Banks, that's the one. Goldfield and Banks. So again, trends happen. So there's these clean, citrusy fragrances that are kind of supported by a little bit of white florals, like the white florals are in the background. And Atelier is making one of theirs. They have a new one called Lemon Island, and I do like that they're focusing on maybe some of their tropical fragrances because Kilian does a great job with citrus fragrances, and their tropical stuff like Pomelo Paradis is great. Very well received, very, very good stuff. So, do y'all want to hear about some of these weird niche fragrances? I don't know anything about them. There's a brand new some new fragrances from a house that I'm not familiar with called Boti Cario. I think that's what it's called. Do y'all want to hear about this or not? Let's see. I only drink when I'm chilling. Yeah, you gotta be responsible for sure. I hear you. I watched a video of naturals when this gal put flower petals in coconut oil and baked it. Heating it definitely will accelerate the process, and that is a good way to go. But I've just been letting them sit naturally. I probably should bake them. That's probably a smart way to go, but you have to be really gentle and you have to know what you're doing. I've really been letting things go the natural way. You know, go do things naturally, but heating it up does accelerate. Extract the oils. So my man Sebastian been done an interview with Dimitri Weber, the owner of Guildfield and Banks. Ben, was that recently? Yeah, Sebastian over there's got the connections. Over there at Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews, he's got all the connections. He's got everybody's phone number. I respect him. He's doing great things over there. I like his content and his list and everything. Anyways, this new Min 2021 by O Boticario looks pretty good. It says notes of sage, lavender, cedar, needles, mint, rose, moss, cedar, and patchouli. Doesn't sound that creative, but sounds nice and classy. Um, Again, there's some of these new brands, and they look nice to look at, but you don't know when you'll try them. Hey there, Mazin. Where are you popping in from in the world? Where are you popping in from? Good to see you. So another fragrance here is called Maori. This the style or the picture going along with this fragrance reminds me of more of like Polynesian island like tattoos. So I don't know if the fragrance is called Maori. I don't really know if it has anything to do with the Maori people, but they have a new fragrance coming out called Aqua, and it looks pretty good. It looks like a really nice blend of citruses, but it does have red wine, which is different. It gets into a few different florals, and uh, and it looks like it's going to be full bodied, so that could be good. And again, I've never seen red wine mixed into more of like a green aquatic like fragrance, and it has some unique florals to it. So that might be nice. The aqua. They also have a new fragrance called Air. Let's see, Jordan Middle East. Oh, that's awesome. You got access to all that good incense over there. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were telling me how expensive benzoine or benzoine has gotten. And benzoine, again, sometimes we look at the ingredients and we're just like, oh, it's just something, and we don't care about it. We don't think about it. Again, benzoine is like this soothing, calm. It's like an incense, and again, it is a resin, but it kind of has this vanilla quality about it. But it's unique, but it's very gentle. It doesn't project that much off the skin, but it's very luxurious. And the stuff, I don't know why, if there's just a low supply of it right now, or maybe people know how much the fragrance industry wants it. You know, Trends, things come and go. Some massive company might make a new popular fragrance and demand tons of benzoine and make the prices of an ingredient skyrocket. I don't know, but benzoine's gotten expensive lately. Um, have you picked up any new incense? Not recently, but I have started making some more tinctures of some of the stuff I have. There's one called like Arden incense, and I don't know. I need to research more on that, but it's a mix of that and benzoine, and I got that. I made it into a tincture. I love that stuff, and that definitely will be made into a fragrance. But there's a lot to explore. I've actually been playing with some more exotic or more unique florals. I'm usually not a floral guy, but there's actually some really unique florals, and they're not used in fragrances very commonly, and they're not too hard to get. And again, I know that a lot of these brands and companies do things on a large scale. They source ingredients that are easy to get. Maybe it's just that it's hard to get these things in like massive tons if you get them in smaller amounts. But I got myself a handful, like a dozen of florals already that are not used in almost any fragrances I ever see. And I'm going to be pulling out some stuff for y'all that y'all are going to be like, what is this note? And what's this note? And you like stuff you've never seen. And that's what I want my brand to be about. Not that but just to be different, but that there's creativity and there's lots and lots of beautiful stuff in the world. And these companies, I guess, with a factory, they want things consistent and stable, and they don't want to. I don't know. And maybe they because they have to mess with synthetics so much with regulations. I don't know what it is, but there are so many ingredients that are just not used in perfumery. There's dozens and hundreds of ingredients. Let's see here. Have you catch up with the comments? Have you? I read that Ben. You smelled anything from the house of BDK? Um, that's a house I know I need to get into. I think I might have tried something. I forget, but I know Smoking Rouge is popular. I haven't smelled Smoking Rouge yet. There was a Cure, like a leathery kind of thing, a heart of the heart that I really need to try. There's a couple of them, and the brand looks outstanding. I've heard pretty good things about them. I have tried Triumph of Bacchus. That one's great, but BDK is really popular on Instagram right now. Need to explore more of them. I needed to get myself a discovery set. So I recently have tried House of Sillage. I got their discovery set. I think it was like the number one, like the spicy leathery one that was kind of decent. But honestly, for the money, I really didn't connect to any of the House of Sillage fragrances. And I kind of wanted to like them. I don't know why. I kind of like their bottles, and I thought they looked like pretty friendly people. And I got a discovery set of the fragrances that are more for men, and I didn't connect to them. And I didn't think the quality was that amazing for what they're charging. Recently, they've been really trying to promote their fragrances with big discounts and get and sell them for like on big sales for like $150. Even for $150, I don't. I personally wouldn't want to pay it, and I would encourage people. I don't think they're going to go back. I think they understand now that they were maybe overcharging. If they do go back to asking 200, 250, $300 for their fragrances, I tell people just to not go for them. But they do have a lot of beautiful fragrances for the ladies. A lot of ladies like their fragrances, and I can't speak on those because I haven't smelled all of their fragrances. So, but at least the men's line from House of Sillage, not for me. Let's see. Mazin says, "Can I ask?" Of course, ask away. Best cologne fragrance of Creed's Aventus, Mercedes Select, or Mont Blanc Explorer, or Armaf Club de Nuit. Um, it all depends on what you like. The Mercedes Select is going to be a little bit more relaxed. The Mont Blanc Explorer is kind of transparent and maybe the easiest to wear. Uh, I'd probably go with the Mont Blanc Explorer for availability. If you have a hard time finding fragrances, or if you really want something for a great price, you could wait a little bit longer and get it for 40, maybe $35 here in the near future. The Mont Blanc Explorer does suffer from longevity issues. I'd go for Al Haramain's Law Aventure. That one's a great one. You can get for about 35 odd dollars. There's another, my favorite Aventus clone style fragrance is from the House of Zoha, the good people from Canada, and it's called Napoleon Cologne. It's actually a dupe or a copy of Aventus Cologne, but it's what Aventus Cologne really should have been, and I think it's way better than Aventus Cologne, and it's pretty darn good for an Aventus style fragrance in general. So I know that some people might disagree with this, but if you were going to go for a more mainstream, and again, I personally feel like Al Haramain's Law of Insure is kind of mainstream and people know about it, but I would go for the Club de Nuit Intense. And I do have a jumbo bottle. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm kind of saving it for the warmer season to talk about it. but I got the Parfum Intense version, the new flanker. Um, I guess I'll spoil some of it for you to help you out because I'm all about helping you out. I'll spoil the review just a little bit. It it probably lasts about the same, but it doesn't project as strongly. It is a little bit more smoother, so it smells a little bit higher quality, but it's not that much better, and it's a little bit less smoky. And some people like the smoky aspect of the original EDT version, so the intense version, it might not be worth it, especially when you have to pay 10 or 15 extra dollars for it. It might not be worth the money for you, but I personally like it, and I think it's pretty respectable. But again, I'd probably go for the Zoha. That's just what I would go for. But if you want something you can buy and you don't want to ship something from Canada, or if you don't want to mess with that, get the Club de was what did I say? Al Haramain Law of Insure. That's the one. Happy to help you though. Feel free to ask away. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. That's what these lives are all about. That's what we're here for. Um, say Carly says, I could listen to you all day, Benjamin. Your knowledge of fragrances fascinates me. Can't wait for the day you own your own brand. Yes, and the chocolate. You know I'll have a chocolate fragrance on the way, Carly. But thank you for that encouragement and that support. That means the world. And I appreciate you, Carly. Thank you. And again, that humbles me. I know that I'm deep into this. I'm way too deep into fragrance. And that's nice. But sometimes it makes me worry a little bit. Am I too deep into fragrance? But it's kind of my life now. Lucas Poe says, I don't know how to say this, but man, Luke's going commando. Oh man, I don't know, man. Be careful. But good to see you, Luke. I know that Luke's that guy comes out there with some comment or says something to get that reaction. He wants that shock factor, but Luke's a cool guy. Y'all know him. He's got a channel. He's really into the humor side of things, but check out his channel. He's a cool guy. Sabor80 says House of Sillage in red. The red bottle smells like cherry cough syrup. Is that the number one? I don't even remember. See, that's the thing. Their fragrances didn't really have real names. They had like numbers. I liked their bottles. I thought their bottles actually looked kind of nice, but to me, they didn't really look like $300 fancy, artisan bottles, and their fragrances didn't blow me away. And honestly, a lot of them didn't have the performance. If your bottles aren't going to be, blow me away, and if your prices are too much, and your fragrances are nice but not spectacular, you better have great performance on them. And they didn't even have great performance, so I can't protect or redeem or any of that stuff. House of Sillage, at least the men's collection. Again, I know a lot of the ladies love the ladies collection, so I won't. I'm not even touching that. But Tremaine says I agree. I wasn't blown away with the House of Sillage juices. Cool bottles though. Yeah, and again, I haven't tried the ladies ones. I need to, but hey, don't say, show it. Oh no, man. And now you're going to get Lucas Poe, and he's going to start doing his reviews. You're only going to see his chest up, but he's going to have that, and it's going to become a part of his channel or something. He'd do something like that. Some more. Y'all are too wild, too wild. Anyways, let's talk about some new releases real quick. We've been on here for about an hour, but let's talk about these a little bit. There's another one by that house I was talking about, the Maori line. There's a new fragrance called Air, and looking at the notes of their fragrances, I don't know why it's called Air, but it has red wine, black pepper, rosewood, benzoyne, cardamom. This has a lot of stuff I love, and that I do want to try this. Vanilla, cypriol, cashmere, ambergris, patchouli, sandalwood, leather, and tonka bean. See, that's something that I need to try. And I don't know if this is another off branch or another attempt at another company. Y'all know that, you know, Tiziana Terenzi and them over have a couple like off brands, and he's the perfumer of this one. So I don't know if he's trying to make another company and just dabbling, or or maybe testing new fragrances to see what DNAs work in the market or not. Sometimes you never know what these creative people are doing, but I do have to say that looks like a beautiful composition right there. So I mean, I'll be excited to try that one whenever if hopefully I'll be able to try it whenever I do get to try it. So let's see. Keep on with the comments, everybody. Keep on coming on. Let's keep going. So there's a new fragrance from Ariza Legrand. Legrand, a fancy, kind of more of a almost like a vintage style house, kind of simple floral citrus kind of compositions. But I respect the house. I haven't really connected to. I've only tried a couple of them, but I haven't connected to any of them so far. But this one looks nice. I do love a good lavender. This one is called Scotch Lavender. And if this is trying to recreate or resurrect the discontinued Creed's, Royal Scottish Lavender, I am going to be a very happy guy if they did it justice and if they did a good job. I'll be a very happy guy. But honestly, if they did that, I'm going to be very happy. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Again, let's see here. Have you tried Centauri? I have tried them. Yes, yes, I have. I always forget the names of his. There's one that was inspired by Egypt. That was like Daedra. Is that how you say it? That one was probably the most fascinating and the best of the bunch. It smelled like Egypt and the pharaohs and like a sand, and it smelled spicy. That one was really nice. All of his fragrances were pretty well composed. I don't know if I was personally would buy them, but they were all pretty wearable and interesting and creative. And I think he created the imagery and he was able to capture the story he was going for. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that to just be nice. I don't know the guy very well, and I don't chat with him, and I don't know if he really cares about who I am or anything like that. But I think he did a pretty good job. It gave you a headache. Too much myrrh. Yeah, some people are sensitive to other notes. I personally really like myrrh. Myrrh is one of my favorite things, and I'm for me personally, I want the more myrrh the better. But I know that some people don't feel that way. Like I smelled fragrances before that have lots of frankincense, and some people don't like lots of frankincense. And I love frankincense. You can put more frankincense in that fragrance if you want to. But I respect that, Sabor. Yeah. It's a struggle, if you especially when you like a fragrance and it has like one note or one little aspect of the fragrance in the opening or the dry down that you don't like. That's the worst. That's the worst when there's just like one little thing that's wrong with it and it like bothers you so much. Mazin says I have for the gym Mont Blanc, Sport. Can I have extra? What's the best Blue Day Chanel or Dior Sauvage? If you're looking for a gym fragrance, I always recommend getting the Dolce Gabbana Light Blue. If you want a little bit extra oomph and performance, get the Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense. They're very transparent, fresh, citric, and always do a good job. And they're not terribly expensive either. I personally much prefer the Blue Day Chanel over the Sauvage, but I respect and I know that lots of people love Sauvage. But again, Sauvage was inspired by Blue Day Chanel. Blue Day Chanel came first. And I personally think that the class and the quality is better from the Blue Day Chanel. And it's not, and some people act like it's super expensive. It's not that much more expensive. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than the Sauvage. But again, if you're going to pay the price for Sauvage, I don't know. To me, they're not that much different in price. So I do put them head to head. Some people that they don't look at it that way. But anyways, my personal favorite out of all of those is the Chanel the EDP. So not the EDT, not the not the Parfum version, but the Bleu de Chanel the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. That's my favorite out of those. If you're looking for something more casual and more affordable, unless you have the money to just burn, I would go for something lighter and fresher. For the gym, I think that Prada Carbon for the gym is a fresher fragrance and would be much better. And if you want something even more transparent, it's not the same fragrance, but it's kind of like a dupe or a clone of Roja Elysium, and it's called Babylon Fragrances. That's the company, and it's named the One. Again, it's confusing because there's the one from Dolce Gabbana, but for some reason the company Babylon Fragrances decided to name their fragrance called the One, and it's kind of transparent. It kind of has that Jeremy fragrance Office for Men kind of effect. But it does smell a little bit like Elysium, and it would be a great, fresh, clean fragrance that wouldn't be too heavy or too loud. It would definitely make you smell better when you're getting all sweaty and stuff. So, anyways, If you're asking again, I do like the Bleu de Chanel better, but if you're asking me my favorite Sauvage out of the bunch, it's probably the Parfum. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but it's a little bit more date appropriate. It's a little bit more night appropriate. It's kind of smooth. It doesn't have a lot of complexity, but I personally find that the Sauvage, the Parfum version, is the most bearable. It doesn't have that musky animalic musk and that vibe that I just really don't like in the EDT. For me personally, I just again I respect other people's opinions and feelings, and but Sauvage EDT does not work for me personally at all. So hopefully that answered your question, Mazin. Hopefully that gave you some reference and ask let me know if I did a good job. Sabor80 says Guerlain Heritage is classy and all year frag, in my opinion. Guy or candle lit dinner. Absolutely. That Guerlain Heritage and I think is are there two different versions, but I know there's an EDP version. That's a beautiful, refined, spicy fragrance. I forget if it's leather or amber, but I remember it kind of smelling that way. But it's a great value for the money too. Yeah, that's a hidden gem for sure. Absolutely. And also Hermes Rocabar, the Rocabar vetiver as well. I try to talk about that sometimes. And there's a lot of beautiful fragrance. There's Serge Luton's Ombre Santal for the refined gent out there, highly underrated fragrance. Great. Sabor asks, gym or date night? For Guerlain Heritage, is that what you're asking, or are you asking about the Bleu de Chanel, the Sauvages? I sometimes connect too many things at the same time in my head, but if you're asking about Guerlain Heritage, to me, that's definitely something that I would wear more for a cozy evening. If I was refined, or it can be a going out fragrance, it could be a date fragrance. But I would see it for me. It'd be something that I personally would wear if I was like wealthy enough and I was going to like an art gallery, like somewhere where I wanted to smell nice and kind of cozy and kind of respectable, but I didn't want to be overtly classy or too much or too little, and have a really nice, approachable smell and quality about myself. I think Heritage has that nice warmth about it. So it's kind of a guy that you can hug or something, or fairly approachable. So, anyways, any more questions? I feel like the comments are drying up. Any more questions tonight? Anything else? There is a new fragrance. Speaking of Serge Lutens that came out, and this is a new release coming out called La Domp. Is that how you say it? La Domp. Tous. I can't speak French. In Cage. Kaji. This has, let me read you the notes. Oh, I guess we're only told frangipani, almond, and ylang ylang. The juice looks kind of dark red though. So it's supposed to have, I don't know, like a nuttiness and a clean floral quality and maybe some soapiness. I'm not sure what this fragrance is really going to be about, but it sounds interesting. And I don't know why it has that dark red color. None of those notes look like they would create that color. So I'm interested, but I don't. It wouldn't probably wouldn't be something I fell in love with. But anyways, let's see here. What fragrance would you wear to take me out for dinner? I'm not sure which fragrance would I wear. Well, of course, you got to get to know somebody first. So I don't know, wear something kind of warm and approachable, but also, has some depth and some character. I've been loving my Boise 1920 really patchouli right now, and that has some licorice to it, which is supposed to be, I don't know, an exciting fragrance note. So maybe I'd wear that, but I don't know. Something approachable, but yet has some character to it. I think Cartier's Roadster is really nice, but for some people that's not a very warm fragrance. But I think it's quite nice. Again, for first dates, if recommending fragrances for anybody, I wouldn't go for the most seductive fragrance, at least not on the first date. But that's just my opinion. So I really like licorice and anise. I do too. It really works in fragrances. But hopefully, that was a good answer, Carly. I think that again for the first date, you got to have something that's approachable and likable, and I like something with a little bit of citrus and a little bit of spice. I think that that's good for a date night, and, of course, if you're a younger guy, I mean, the blue stuff always works, but, if you're, more refined or, getting deeper into fragrances, there's lots of good choices for you. Or something with a tiny bit of coffee. A tiny bit of coffee also works really great for date nights, at least in my experience, that at least, and it makes you feel good too. So, anyways, are there any licorice or anise fragrances that you want to talk about that are your favorites? There is a new fragrance house here called Elixir Attar, and they have a new fragrance coming out called uh, Cohiban Coffee. And this looks interesting. It has dark chocolate, jasmine, sambac, tobacco, sandalwood, sandalwood. I love sandalwood honey, and oud. And it doesn't actually have coffee listed in a note. I don't know if they actually don't have coffee in the fragrance or if Fragrantica messed up again because they don't have coffee listed in in the notes in Cohiban coffee. Oud extreme fragrance. But I do want to try it. I think it's a long name. I think that's kind of crazy, but who names their fragrance Cohiban Coffee Oud Extreme? But it does look pretty intense, so maybe I'll get my nose on that sometime. Anyways, sounds amazing, Benjamin. You'd win me over with that smile. Well, you're too nice, but I thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. And I don't know you're flattering me. I don't know how I should respond to that, Carly, but thank you, and you're awesome too. So Bore 80 says, "Did you ever get your nose on kerosene black vines?" I actually did. I'm terrible. Sometimes people send me things from time to time. There was a wonderful person who sent me a bunch of decants of Dua, and I really it helped me out and it was awesome. But I'm really bad about remembering. Somebody sent me couple samples, and one of them was Black Vines. It's a great fragrance. I personally like Blackmail better, and I always say Unspoken, but I know that's wrong. It's like it's something memories. It's like I always say it wrong. I should look it up again, but it's by Kerosene. It's a beautiful waffle fragrance, and it has lots of citrus, and it should be hyped. It should be talked about, and everybody should know about that fragrance. Bespoken. Is that it? Bespoken memories. Anyways, there's a couple great oud fragrances I've seen people talk about. There's by the House of Latafa has been putting out some good ones. I've seen some people talk about Amir Al Oud Intense or Intense Oud, I think it is, and I've been needing to get my hands on that one, but we'll see when or if I do. I don't see too many other new releases that look exciting. But let me look up that Kerosene real quick because I do want to shout them out. Kerosene is a great house that's been around for a while, and I don't think they get enough love in the fragrance community. Unknown Pleasures is a fragrance. It's a beautiful citrus waffle fragrance. It has that waffle cone like smell, and it's a great one. It deserves to be hyped and loved and adored. It's very mass appealing too, but it's also a little bit unique. So Unspoken Pleasures. I do like Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche, but honestly, I've smelled that, and I've also smelled Marametta from the house of I think that fragrance is called Le Leva, and the brand is called Marametta, and it kind of does something similar. I don't need the Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche, especially when you have to go out of your way to get it. So Lolita Limpica is a good one, and there is a licorice frag in the Hermes collection, but I forget the name. Yeah, licorice does sneak up in some good fragrances here and there. And you're right, quite a few of the Lolita Limpica has licorice. There's one called it's by Juliet Has a Gun. I think it's called was it called Dark Void? Um, Let me see here. I'll have to look. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. It's not pulling up. Anyways, I'll find it here in a second, guys. But that one has licorice too, and I've been needing to buy it. Um, Let's see here. Unknown Pleasures has that limit. Yeah, it does have a gourmandish quality about it, and it does an amazing job. It's absolutely a stunning fragrance, Unknown Pleasures. I highly recommend it here. I do. I recommend it here to everybody. If you can get a sample, Kerosine's a great house. They've been around. He used to be a fragrance reviewer. I never got to see his fragrance reviews. I haven't heard many people speak about him as a reviewer. Some people said he was interesting. Some people said he was funny. He's a genuine guy. I bought my fragrance, Blackmail. He treated me right, and seems to be a pretty good guy. And I wish that we everybody want again. I'm not trying to talk about Jeremy Fragrance again, but everybody wanted to support him. Some people actually told me that we like owed Jeremy Fragrance to buy his fragrance because he helped people so much or something. Kerosene actually put out some good fragrances and actually put forward the effort, and I think that people got to at least give him a chance. So, the fragrance I was thinking of is called "Into the Void" by Juliet Has a Gun. That's the one I was thinking of. It might be feminine. I'm not really sure. The brand usually is listed that way, but I see some people in the comment section and who've talked. I've seen talk about this fragrance before. Say this one leans a little bit masculine. I usually do not like orchid, but in this fragrance does have orchid, but it could be a fragrance that converts me to the notes. So, anyways, let's see. Bespoken Dua Midnight Rendezvous. It has a really good Landois Delon clone. I'll have to try that out. Midnight Rendezvous. Unknown Pleasures. Unknown. Yep, that's the one. Unknown Pleasures. Thanks a lot. Happy to help Mazin. And are there any more licorice fragrances y'all want to talk about? Are there any that surprise you? Then again, if you don't not familiar, wormwood also can have a licorice-like quality. When you see anise listed as a note, that's going to give you that licorice-like quality. Wormwood can do some weird things. It can smell more like absinthe sometimes. Really depends on the fragrance. But keep an eye out when you're looking at your fragrances for sure. And Black Opium has a little bit of licorice. Very famous fragrance. Love Black Opium. I did not know that Montal Oud Greedy has licorice. I'm gonna look at that now. Might be tempted to get into this one. So let's see. Licorice, lemon, patchouli, amber, floral notes, white musk, vetiver. Doesn't seem too exciting, but I might have to get a sample of that sometime. Hmm. See, there's kerosene black vines, it is a very kind of dark and complex licorice fragrance for sure. See. Are there any other ones y'all recommend to talk about? Um, let's see. Bryn de Reach. How do you say that? Rigelise. That has a licorice frag from Hermes. Okay, I'll have to try that one. Again, I don't know how to get my hands on some of these. Sometimes these are hard to find, really, and sometimes these things are discontinued, which is also always another problem. I didn't know. I have smelled Mugler Beeman before. I didn't know it had licorice in it. That's surprising. I never really thought about that. There is one by this house, Pierre Goulami. Is that how you say his name? They have one called Anta Blues I've been wanting to try, but he also has one that has licorice. And I've been really tempted to get into this house. I do not know why, but it has vanilla, myrrh. I know you don't like myrrh too much, and you don't like tea, but I pulled one out here for you. Maybe this one will work for you. Vanilla, myrrh, licorice, and tea and leather. And the bottles to me look interesting, and they got this mysterious vibe about them. So who knows? Maybe this one will work. Maybe it won't. Let's see here. Catch up with the comments. You try Mission fragrances. Miss Sony, I have not tried those really. For a second, I thought you were talking about Mabusin. And again, I know I'm saying that incorrectly, but I've seen a brand called that before. But I have not tried that. Do you recommend it? How much does it cost? And Miss Sony, I want to say I've heard that before, but I'm looking up licorice fragrances right now to see if there's anything else that catches my eye. There's the Sirius number 5. Is that how you say it? And I've seen some people speak kind of highly about those in the past. Kenzo Air supposedly has a little licorice. Didn't know that. Um, There's one of the Guerlain La Petite Robe flankers. The Black Perfecto Robe Noir flanker supposedly has some licorice. That's one of those flankers of a flanker of a flanker. Don't see many people talk about it. Let's see here. This one would be nice. It might be hard to get. It's a 2005 release. Lolita Limpica Stardust Midnight. It sounds like an anime or something, but there's Lolita Limpica, especially for the ladies, does licorice really nicely. Pure Tonka did have a little bit of a licorice vibe to it. It did. And that's one reason I liked Pure Tonka so much. Anyways, that's all. Most of the patchouli fragrances. I might have to try this one. It's from Il Profumo. Y'all know that they made the patchouli noir, which I love so much. They made one called Black Dianthus, number 2. And I don't know if this is still even available, but now I kind of want to try it, even though I don't know if I'd like it or not. But it looks like a femme fatale fragrance. So Carly, if you're still here, or ladies, let me. This does seem to be still on the market. You can find it out there. Somebody's even selling one. I think it might be on eBay for 98 euros, which is quite a pretty good deal for this fragrance. It has carnation, rhubarb, licorice, thyme, red berries, vetiver, cherry, and belladonna, a poison flower. So if that's not a femme fatale fragrance, I don't know what is. And I was looking for something for me, but hey, ladies, I just found a beautiful femme fatale fragrance for you. What do you think about that? How you like that? Blackpink. If you don't know, that's a dumb K-pop reference. It's a song that got very famous really quickly. So Beeman is nice. Beeman was pretty nice. It never got really popular, but it was a decent fragrance. I probably discontinued at this point, but yeah, B-Man was pretty good. Looks like Bleu de Chanel in $50 Missoni Italia. Are you saying it smells like Bleu de Chanel? I think that's what you're trying to tell me. I wouldn't be surprised. And they probably did a really good job of it. Bleu de Chanel is such a popular fragrance. So this one, that fragrance I just talked about, the Black Dianthus 2, is not available on Lucky Scent. So this one might be discontinued. There might be very few bottles still available out there. So I guess get it while you can. It's a shame. Sometimes I find these fragrances and they're discontinued, and you find them and then you love them and then you want to tell other people about them, but they're already discontinued. Like I got Dahari or Zahari, I forget how you say it, from the House of Faidon, and it's like this, it has this terracotta note and this really interesting like Spanish wine type of smell to it, and it actually really works. But I don't want to hype it up or talk about it because it's discontinued and you'll probably never get your hands on it. So sometimes that happens. It's a shame. Oh, I'm still here. Sounds lovely. Good to see you, Carly. And I bet it would be lovely. Femme Fatale fragrance for sure. So okay, guys, I got to wrap this up. We're talked about licorice fragrances, so let me wrap this up. I think this fragrance has licorice. I gotta satisfy my curiosity to double check. I think it does have licorice, but let me double check if it does or not. It's called Wolfsbane by Cortana. My favorite fragrance from the house. Does it have licorice or not? So it has absinthe, truffle, tuberose, fig leaf, tobacco blossom, benzoin, angelica, patchouli, cumin, vetiver, castoreum, ginger, cedar. And so it's not listed as a note, but it does get kind of close to smelling like licorice. So if you like really strong, or if you want something that's licorice like, something a little bit different, Wolfsbane is definitely on that deep side of niche. Deep side of niche. Very interesting, maybe even strange to some people. But I love Wolfbane. I wish I had a bottle in my collection. I only have a decant. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this live up. Any questions and thoughts before I roll out? Is this was a good live? I appreciate all of you, my friends. We had a fun time. Hopefully, I entertained you. We explored fragrances enough, and I don't know, you were able to feel like you chatted about fragrances with a friend. Again, these lives are not all about me, they're about you. So if you come to the next live next Saturday night and you have, maybe prepare some questions. If you have any questions, you want to make suggestions for how I can change my content, you want to see a certain fragrance review, you have a request, or if there's anything like that, I'm here to help you, and that's what these lives are for. So hope that y'all had some fun tonight. It was a pretty good time. Lovely to see you as always, Benjamin. You're awesome. Yes, Carly, you too. And have yourself some good chocolate. Sabor 80, I appreciate you. Anybody else you want to say goodbye? I'm probably going to roll on out of here, but have a beautiful weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Smell great. I know that y'all are smelling great. We probably have too many fragrances for our own good, but I appreciate you, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe out there. And I'll catch you next time. And again, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I'm actually going to put some out unboxings of some new fragrances out on Instagram tomorrow. So please check me out on Instagram. And of course, hit that follow and use hashtag Centaur Fragrance. So, you don't lose track of me. So hit the like. I appreciate that. I didn't even ask. I probably should do that. I should ask for likes because that'll probably promote my channel and help my channel and get more people involved, not necessarily because I want to become the biggest, but that more people, if they want to join the family, they have the chance, because you know how YouTube is. It's an algorithm, and if you don't get the likes, if you don't get the clicks, if you don't get people watching or commenting or whatever, YouTube doesn't care about you. That's just how it works. But have a beautiful day, everybody. I'll catch you next time. And thanks for everything. Thanks for today. It was fun. Peace out. Bye.